Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650E here, and welcome to another episode of the New Bike Build Series. We're taking a brand new 2018 BMW S1000RR that has the premium package that I purchased from Sills BMW. We're going to add some amazing parts to this motorcycle with the help of our channel sponsors, and then at the end of the build series, we are giving this bike away to one of you awesome people viewing the video. Information on how you might win this motorcycle is in the description. In today's episode, Zack is going to install a lithium-ion battery. He's going to install the Brentuning supplied intake air relocator kit and some other cool stuff. So let's see what Zack's up to. All right, Zack, what are we doing today?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Hey, buddy.
We are going to start getting this bike ready to make its trip to Brentuning and get its ECU reflashed and speedometer unlocked. So they sent us some parts. They sent us their kit to get the bike ready. Comes with engine ice for coolant to help keep it cooler. Samco Sport radiator silicone hoses to deal with higher pressures to help keep it cooler. Higher pressure radiator cap, 1.8 bar instead of 1.5, and it has a handy thermometer built into it. Sprint air filter, and their air temp sensor relocation kit, which moves the air temp sensor from the rear of the airbox up into the nose, so it reads the actual air temperature. It doesn't gain you any power, but keeps your power more consistent. Because sometimes it gets real hot where the factory one is mounted at. So we're going to get that stuff. We're not going to get the hoses installed today because we actually also have another color. So we're going to do a poll. I think you're going to put a poll up.
Yes, I am.
It's probably already going to be up by the time this video is up.
Yes, it will be.
We'll know which color, and then the next video we're going to get those installed along with the exhaust. We're also waiting. We need rear sets to put the exhaust on, so we're waiting on some rear sets to come in. That's not why we're not going to do that today. One other thing we can do though to make the bike lighter and fairly cheap, usually run around $200 and last a long time, is to use a lithium style battery. So this one's made by Speed Cell, comes ready to go right out of the box. It has the quick connect type connector, so we'll show how to hook this up. The quick connect is nice because it comes with a piece of paper. It says if you disconnect this battery when you're storing your bike for more than 7 days, it's going to hold the charge for 10 years, supposedly. Wow. So as long as there's no draw on it, it'll hold the charge.
No trickle charger required.
No trickle charger required, as long as you unplug it. That's why it has the quick connect style plug. So hopefully we'll see how it fits. I've never put one in before, so might be a little bit clunky, but we'll get it in there and make it look the best we can. Let's get going. So to do the intake air temp sensor, it can be done with the gas tank on, but it's difficult, and we're this far apart. We're going to need to take the gas tank off to do the hoses anyway. So let's start. We'll take the gas tank off, and then we'll remove the speedometer. Got to get these sticky hoses off as always. That's the worst part about that strap. Then you just take a Torx 30. You got a bolt on either side. Then you need a 10mm socket, pop the bolt out of there. And then that's going to let us access all our fuel pump connections, fuel lines, and electrical. You just lift the tank up. You can put it right back in its mount here, tilt it forward. You can rest it there, hang on to it with one hand, and then you can see we have various plugs we need to disconnect. The fuel line, you push the silver tab here. Don't get too close. A little bit of gas drips out, but not much. And then these connectors, you just push it away from the side that clips on and then pull it out. And they come right out, and now we're disconnected.
Nice.
You move it off to the side. When you have your gas tank off and you're setting it, you want to set it down this way so you don't set it on the fuel pump. So now you can see our fuel tank's removed. It gives us access to this coolant hose that we're going to have to change next time. And our intake air temp sensor is right here, which was kind of underneath the tank. So next up we got to move the ECU. So now that your ECU is free, just remove the screw. You can get underneath here. This gray clip, you just pry up with the screwdriver. It's just a push pin. Regular flathead works well. And then this front piece comes out. And we also have our factory installed noise restrictor. We're going to get that out. We might have to wait until the air filter comes out all the way. So let's get this out. This is a good time to change your air filter. We need this out to be able to route the wires. So we'll take this out anyway. The seat stayed pretty clean for the 400 miles. This will just set back down. Put this stuff off to the side. Now we should be able to get this out. And this will just go in the box for the next, whoever wins this.
Yeah, we left it out of Daniel's bike, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can see right here is our intake air temp sensor. This is a wire for it. You just got to push on the silver part, pull up. And then there's a tab on the back side here. You can push with your finger, wiggle a little bit. Might need two hands.
Yeah.
And then we can get the sensor out itself.
Okay.
So it just has a little wire in there that creates a voltage and gives it a temperature reading.
Okay.
So we're gonna move this up into this nose piece. We've never done this with the nose off, so it'll look a little bit different.
Okay.
It's actually a little easier too. So let's get the instrument cluster out of the way, which is super easy. With everything removed, we just pull this clip off. It's probably best to grab it with pliers still, so we don't send it flying.
Yeah.
And then disconnect these connectors, and this is just pushed in place.
Oh wow.
With little pins.
Yeah.
So now that's out of the way. We have a perfect view to see where we need to drill.
Yeah.
We're gonna go right about here's where we usually put it. Put a little center punch so the drill doesn't walk all over the place. We gotta make sure we don't go over too far because of this connector. Otherwise they run into each other. It is a little tricky when you're drilling because you're going into this step surface. So the drill bit doesn't always cooperate. And it also likes to do that, which is quite annoying.
Yeah.
I think we have to make it just a little bit larger than that.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's see how it fits with the dash. We can just pop this back in place. Oh yeah, we picked a good spot. It's right off to the side.
Yep.
And now, this is where their kit comes in handy. It comes with a wire harness with both factory connectors on it and a block off plate for where our hole is in the airbox. Now the one end plugs in at our air temp sensor. We want to follow this factory wiring here. Plug that in like that. And it's gonna, we'll have to undo some zip ties. We'll just route it right along here. And this is where we're gonna go in to this hole in the frame here. It comes out right inside. And then we just have to take this, I like taking this one screw out so we wind up right there. It just looks a little bit neater. And then since we're having the ECU Flash, this is really the only extra wiring we're going to have to do on this bike.
Oh, wow, man.
Instead of what we've done before, you know?
Yeah.
So this way it'll come right up in here. We'll zip tie it to that.
Yeah.
And
no
then
power
we plug it in,
and all that stuff. Like
we plug it into the factory connector that did plug into the air temp sensor, just like so.
Nice.
And you do have to watch where you set this, because if you put it in the wrong spot when you put everything together, it'll keep everything up too high.
Sure.
So just pay attention when you're seating that in. And then the last thing we have to do is we'll move that way, is install the plug into the hole down there that you can see from the air temp sensor.
Yep.
And these things took just a second to get used to, but all you got to do, bend the tabs out from when it comes, so it's a little bit larger. Again, not too much, just a little bit in each tab. So that it'll have some pressure when you put it in. And then this is magnetic, so I just like to take a magnet. You can stick it right to it, and that way you know when you have enough pressure too, because it'll push in, and when you pull your magnet off, it doesn't come back out with it. So now we're nice and in there.
Yeah.
Secure, it's not going to bounce around. Airbox is sealed up. Sensors in, the wire's routed, everything's out of the way. Now we can put the air filter back in. Like I said, perfect time to change it.
Yep.
Upgrade to our Sprint one. I don't know. Can we see through it? Maybe if we go out the door over here. You can see how much air is going to make it through there.
Oh yeah.
Yet it still filters
enough
to keep the engine safe. So to lift that out of the way, you have to watch your vent hoses from the gas tank. They like to get in the way of you installing this. See, that guy got to the wrong spot. That one's in the right spot. You want to make sure you don't pinch these either.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that hose wound up in the wrong spot. We gotta move it forward. It needs to be on that side of it. And then it has little tabs that line up in the bottom. You know you're in when you can just push it, and it's good to go. That hose is free. This hose is free. If you pinch this one, you'll notice that when you pop your gas cap off, it'll like fly open and...
Ooh, yeah, pressure?
Yeah, you have a bunch of pressure.
Wow.
So, if you have that issue, you most likely pinch that hose. Slide that guy back in place. Our little gray clip goes on there, as long as you don't lose it.
Yeah.
Found it. Just push it in, and then these guys lock it down. That's it. We can put our ECU back on. I don't have it handy, but because it's over in the pile of parts, I like to put the screw for the airbox cover in here while you're tightening this.
Okay.
That way everything lines up better for you.
Okay.
You go back together. So we got step one of our Brentuning parts installed. We got the air temp sensor relocated.
Yep.
And then next time we'll do the coolant, the radiator cap, and the hoses.
Yep.
Today we're just going to move on and switch our battery over to a lithium ion style. Requires less charging, gives better cold cranking amps, and usually weighs a fair amount less. Let's see what our difference is today. We got the stock battery. Looks like it's 80 cold cranking amps. Doesn't say how many amp hours it is. Oh, 8 amp hour battery. So it's like a ITX8. Got the trusty old postage scale.
Yeah.
Giving us a guesstimate of 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
This is definitely lighter than 7 pounds.
Yeah.
I can tell you that just by holding. We'll even put the mounting parts on there. Wow. 2 pounds.
2 pounds. 5 pounds.
So
just from
5
a damn
pounds
battery.
just from battery, you know?
What the heck?
And that's sprung weight. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couple cheeseburgers.
No kidding.
And this is, let's see.
How many amp hours is that? Or whatever.
It doesn't say. 5 amp hour battery.
Okay.
So the tricky part about this though is getting these connections on, doing it correctly, making sure everything fits. We don't want this bouncing around in here, as you can see.
Yeah.
A fair amount of room.
Yep.
Doesn't look like it's gonna fit this way. We'll have to make sure that this does clear our seat. It looks like it's gonna clear the seat just fine because we were up here. So that's good. So this one isn't gonna be that difficult. We'll just have to get some Velcro and some padding in here.
Okay.
It already comes padded. Some lithium batteries don't come in a box like this, and you really would want to make sure they have foam around them. It just looks like a battery pack, you know?
Sure.
So let's get our connections going. Basically all we're going to do is connect red to red, black to black, and do it in such a way that we can plug this in and unplug it easily and not have these wires kinked. We want to try not to have the red and black crossing each other at any point, so if they rub, it doesn't create a short.
Sure.
So you want to use a little bit of thought while you're doing this. This may not even be the best way. We might wind up with it this way. We're coming across. No, I think we were better off this way. So you'll probably want to just set this up first. Looks like we'll be able to get our ground wire down here, which will be nice. The other thing is, it's ideal to have your connections like this, because this piece of shrink tubing has to go over top of it. So if we have them bent, it doesn't really work very well. And the negative side doesn't matter so much if it's covered up, but we have to have the positive side covered.
Okay.
Because if this were to touch the frame or touch any other piece of metal, it'll short and could cause a fire from the battery.
Whoa!
We don't want that.
No.
So this, I think we're going to go maybe down underneath here. Maybe go like that. Looks pretty good. Lots of room on this one. In the R1, I had to cut your battery holder, I remember.
Really? Yeah.
It was too tight. Yep, that'll get us fully covered, so we're good. So yeah, if you think you're going to need to make connections, go ahead and cut that in half. It comes with a little Allen key. We'll probably switch to a socket, but let's put our positive here. Shrink tubing on first again. And you're just going to take the bolt, put it through the battery cable into their quick connector. Try to hold everything straight while you tighten it. Get it nice and snugged up. And then slide this over, and then we're going to use a heat gun to shrink that down once we really like how our connections are.
Okay.
So this has to go like that. So that's going to wind up down like that. That's going to go as far that way as it can go. So we need to untangle that mess. So our positive is going to sit like that, and then I think we'll just keep our negative like that, and they're not really going to be touching. They look all right, except our stock battery, they use this holder, and this holder was hitting right on top here.
Yep.
So this just pops out of here with a screwdriver. And just to press in on the side, and we can take this out like that. Let's see if that gives us enough clearance. If not, we're going to have to turn the battery side. Oh yeah. So with that piece off, I don't know, you guys probably can't see it now. We got, there's some clearance on top of that connector, which is good. Everything still fits fine. Our wires aren't going to rub or anything. So I think we're good to install.
Heck yeah.
Also in the package it comes with some Velcro, a nice big sheet of it. So I'm just going to put a piece on the bottom and a piece on our, I believe that's the suspension computer. So it'll Velcro and stay in place, and shrink tube that up. Let's disconnect. Take this guy out of here. Shrink tubing, you can use a lighter. I always think it shrinks more evenly though with a heat gun.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't imagine using a lighter.
When you're out fixing stuff, not in the shop or something, you can just use a lighter. It shrinks down. This just does it a little more evenly. I like to put a layer of electrical tape over the positive too, just for extra added protection. So I'll start just outside the shrink wrap, just in case. It's amazing what vibration or this cable moving, how it can rub and wear. And being that it's right off the battery itself isn't fused, I don't believe, so it would not be good. The negative, we're not as worried about. We just want it to be waterproof. Which it now is. We gotta clean out the bottom of that battery box. Looks like it's been to the beach.
Oh yeah, from rain or something.
Yeah. Just push on it, hold it for 20 seconds or so.
Well, that's cool. So you don't have to stuff anything else in there to make
No, because we already have the padding around the battery itself, and this is going to hold it in place. If it seemed like this Velcro wasn't holding it in place, you might get some big foam block that you could stick in here. Or even package bubbling, something like that. But I think we're going to leave it like that. We'll get some miles on it if it looks like it's moving. So put your battery cables back in that position that we had them. Which I believe was like that. Plug this guy back in. And we should let power.
There you go.
Excellent. And just like that, we saved 5 pounds.
Wow.
That's the best part.
Great mod there.
And then, yeah, you just want to double check your seat fitment, make sure it starts.
Okay.
Go on from there. But.
Sweet. Link to this battery is going to be in the description. We can get it from Moto Million.
Yep. You would need a special charger. It would plug into this.
Okay.
If you do get this style battery and it does wind up dying on you. But like I said, they recommend just unplugging it whenever you leave your bike sit.
Yep.
That's why it has the quick connect on.
Perfect.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, Zach, man.
And hopefully we'll have some rear sets next time so we can get that exhaust on
Yes.
and make some noise.
That's going to be exciting. All right, Zach, thanks.
All right, have a good day.
Later. So Zach just saved 5 pounds off that motorcycle by installing that amazing quick disconnect lithium-ion battery supplied to us by Moto Million. Links to how you can purchase that battery is in the description. You can also still support the New Bike Build Series. Information on how you can win that motorcycle is in the description. Come on over to my Patreon page and find out how you can join us. Alright, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button. New videos are always uploaded to the 650 Eve YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more, and as always, thanks so much for viewing. We'll catch you next time.